Exposed, Billionaire witnesses a homeless girl teaching his daughter the life-changing act that caught the world off guard. In the heart of downtown Los Angeles, Charles Green was a titan of industry, a billionaire who held the city's skyline in his grasp, yet his penthouse felt as vacant as the hollow echo of his heart. A sleek, luxurious prison of his own making, filled with all the possessions money could buy, but devoid of laughter and warmth. Meanwhile, his daughter, Lily, barely 10 years old, wandered amidst the opulence in lonely silence, craving a connection with her father that seemed more distant than the stars. One sweltering afternoon, struggling under the weight of a looming business disaster, Charles found himself aimlessly wandering beyond the towering walls of glass and steel that encapsulated his empire. The brash sounds of the city faded away, replaced by an inviting cacophony of laughter spilling from a nearby park. Drawn by a flicker of curiosity, Charles stepped inside, where he stumbled upon an extraordinary scene. There was Lily, her bright red hair catching the sunlight, her laughter mingling with the shouts of children. In the center of the playground stood Ellie, a spirited homeless girl, her infectious smile weaving a bond of joy among the group. There, Charles watched as Ellie taught Lily how to build a sandcastle taller than her own head, their innocent giggles mixing seamlessly with the gentle rustle of trees and the distant cries of street vendors. This moment felt alive, each child's laughter like music to Charles' ears, an unfamiliar melody that began to dissolve the hard edges of his self-imposed isolation. As Lily's eyes sparkled with delight, the joy was almost palpable, yet an anxious knot formed in Charles's chest. Who was this girl, and why did Lily seem entranced? Protective instincts flared within him, urging him to intervene. But he found himself rooted in place, unable to look away from the magic unfolding before him. Just as he thought to step forward, an irate local business owner confronted him. "Your corporation is ruining this neighborhood. Your success has come at a cost to families like mine." Thunder rumbled in Charles' heart. The crushing truth hit him: his relentless pursuit of the American dream had disrupted the very fabric of the community that had once lifted him. Guilt and indignation warred within him. Caught in the emotional whirlwind, he fancied a financial donation to a local charity would placate his conscience, away to repair his image, perhaps to fix the gulf between himself and the people. However, he didn't realize the treasure Lily was quietly discovering in her friendship with Ellie: resilience, empathy, and connection that money could never be. As the local community festival thrummed with life later that week, chaos erupted when a child stumbled and fell. Panic spread, but through the turmoil, Charles saw his daughter's dilemma, torn between the chaos and her friend, Ellie. In this gut-wrenching moment, Charles faced a choice: uphold his corporate reputation or embrace the lessons of kindness and community that Lily was learning. Just as he was ready to respond, his phone buzzed intensely with a new crisis from his company, threatening to pull him back into the world he sought to escape. Lily and Ellie looked to him, their faces alive with expectation. The weight of their hopeful gazes bore down on him as he stood at the crossroads of fear and truth. Could he let go of his unforgiving drive to chip away at the business facade that had defined him? Would he finally recognize that true wealth lay not in profit margins, but in the heartstrings of connection? The crowd swelled around them, hope brimming in the air, leaving Charles breathless with uncertainty. Charles felt the pressure of the moment crushing him, a weight heavier than any financial burden he'd ever carried. The sounds of the festival, the laughter of children, and the anxious whispers of the crowd swirled around him, a tempest pulling at his heart. A part of him wanted to shout, to demand that everyone step aside, to return to the cold comfort of his office where crises could be tucked away neatly behind spreadsheets. But here, in this park surrounded by tangible life, the enormity of his disconnection began to unravel him. Lily reached out, her small hand gripping Ellie's tightly, both girls staring up at him, searching for answers he was not certain he had. The intent in their eyes was a mirror to his own childhood, one where hope and innocence thrived unburdened by adult expectations. How had he allowed ambition to strip joy from his life? "Daddy!" Lily cried. "Please help. She needs us." Ellie nodded earnestly, her expression filled with both determination and vulnerability. The sight of their trust sent a shiver down his spine. It was a call to action. He could no longer ignore the chance to step beyond the man that he had become, the chance to reclaim the father he once wanted to be. with a trembling sigh, Charles took a step forward. The instant felt electric, the air thick with the potential for change. The chaos dimmed to a whisper as he focused on the girls before him, each breath weaving together courage and compassion. He could feel a tide shifting inside him, like the rush of warm waves hitting cool sand. "Okay, let us help," he said, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions within. He reached down, offering his hand to Ellie, and to his surprise, she took it without hesitation. Her grip was firm and trusting, making him realize how much strength could be found in vulnerability. The gathering crowd parted as the three of them rushed toward the fallen child. Charles felt a shift, not just in momentum but in purpose. This wasn't just about fixing a moment of chaos, it was about stitching together the broken seams of community. He could see how each child's face was lit with hope, a fragile flicker that needed nurturing. Lily's giggles rang out as they reached the child and helped him back on his feet. Within moments the air shifted again, the worry dissolving into laughter. Almost instinctively, the children surrounding them began to form a circle, clapping and cheering. The relief washed over Charles like a wave, clearing the fog of his corporate greed. "That's it. We can do this together," Charles shouted, feeling warmth spread through his chest. Turning to Ellie, he saw her smile wide and genuine, igniting a newfound fire in his heart. As the festival swept up around them once more, a realization settled upon him: this connection, here in the heart of the community, was invaluable. He could give back in ways that money never could: a mother's embrace, a friend's laughter, the joy of unencumbered play. But just like that, a familiar figure loomed at the edge of the park, his attorney, a serious frown plastered across her face. She beckoned urgently, a stark reminder of his responsibilities threatening to pull him back into the world of numbers and audits. A bolt of panic shot through him. Now that he had tasted this new way of being in the world, would he have the strength to choose it over the relentless grind of his empire? As the laughter faded into the backdrop, making way for the looming reality of his decisions, Charles felt another choice surfacing: could he bring this community into his life, both personally and professionally? Could he build a new legacy? The questions hung in the air like a fragrant promise, leaving Charles breathless once again. Charles stood frozen, caught in the tension between the vibrant laughter of the festival and the sober reality expressed on his attorney's face. She was a reminder of everything he had built but also of what he was risking. A whirlwind of thoughts danced in his mind, pushing him to take action before the moment slipped away. "Give me a minute," he told her, stepping away with purposeful intent. The noise began to fade as he focused on the joy radiating from the children, his heart racing in rhythm with their innocent laughter. In this fleeting moment, he felt lighter, safer than he had in years, away from the weighty expectations of his business empire. "Daddy, come back." Lily's voice cut through his reverie, bright and eager. He turned to see her and Ellie standing hand in hand, smiles beaming like sunflowers towards him. They were still buzzing from their recent victory, the triumph of lifting a child from uncertainty. It struck him how simple it was to create joy, the kind that didn't come with balance sheets or press conferences, that he began moving towards the girls, but his attorney's eye contact bore down on him with urgency, pulling him back toward his responsibilities like a reluctant anchor. "Charles," she called again, her voice firm and unyielding. "Not now." He snapped. The reaction of surprise that flashed across her face startled him too. It resonated deep within, a reminder of not only his inability to find joy but also his growing impatience with his old life. Had it truly come to this? He often dismissed his emotions as distractions, but now they felt like a beacon, guiding him away from the endless pursuit of success his corporate life demanded. As he watched the girls interact with other children, he noticed a homeless girl sitting alone under a tree, her belongings gathered in a tattered backpack, her face shadowed by unkempt hair. There was a fragility in the way she watched the festivities, longing yet distant. Charles felt a tug at his heartstrings. Here was another child, a stark contrast to the laughter surrounding him, somehow teaching an invaluable lesson without even speaking a word. "Why don't we invite her to play?" Ellie proposed, her pure-hearted suggestion breaking through his thoughts. The simple kindness echoed in Charles's mind: widening the cracks in his heart that had long been sealed by ambition. Lily nodded eagerly, her small feet already taking tentative steps toward the girl. "Come on. We can be friends," she called out, her voice bubbling with warmth. Charles's pulse quickened, a rush of emotion coursing through him as he followed. What was stopping him? Taking the chance to introduce kindness back into his life felt paramount. He had wallowed in his own privilege for too long, blinded by profits over purpose. As they approached, it happened he witnessed the exact binding of their worlds. The homeless girl looked up, a galaxy of vulnerability and hope reflecting in her eyes as she waited for their next move. Lily extended her hand, an invitation offered innocently yet powerfully. "Hi. Wanna play with us?" The girl's initial hesitation melted, an eyebrow lifting in surprise. There was a flicker of disbelief. Then uncertainly, she took the step closer, and that spark of connection sent a rippling wave of joy throughout the group. Charles felt his heart swell. For the first time in ages, he recognized the shield he had constructed around himself, and the experience of warmth starting to settle within felt liberating. This could be a turning point, a moment where he could pivot his sense of identity away from mere business success, but as laughter enveloped them, that familiar frown from his attorney remained engraved in the back of his mind. How could he balance this burgeoning connection with the demands of his life? With every heartbeat echoing the joys of childhood, Charles was faced with a choice that seemed monumental. Could he redefine what building a legacy truly meant in a world that often overlooked the most vulnerable? And as the day unfolded like a kaleidoscope of colors, he wondered, was he ready to dismantle the barriers he had spent a lifetime constructing? It was time to confront not just his past but a bright and uncertain future. The laughter around them seemed to swell like an anthem, a melody that danced through the air as if to celebrate the moment unfolding. Charles watched as Lily and Ellie pulled the homeless girl into their circle, the trio's laughter blending into a symphony of innocence. Yet amidst this joy, he felt the unease of his attorney's presence hovering on the periphery of his thoughts. He wanted to fully immerse himself in the scene before him, to feel the heat of the sun on his skin and the weight of his daughter's hand in his own. For once, he longed to push aside the heavy mantle of capitalism that had become his cloak, but the tension was palpable. The world he had known was like a quicksand pit, and each joyful moment outside that realm felt like it could pull him under. "What's your name?" Lily asked the girl, her eyes sparkling with the curiosity of youth. It was a small gesture but one that turned a frown into a smile. The transformation thawed the ice that had formed around the girl's heart. "Anna," she replied softly, the hesitation lingering in her voice. As if she wasn't entirely convinced she belonged here. "Let's play tag," Ellie suggested, bouncing on her feet, innocence spilling from her as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. And in that instant, the spark of hope ignited further. The three of them dashed away together, the sound of their laughter juxtaposing the serious marker of the attorney standing still, arms crossed. Charles took a deep breath, feeling something warm swell up inside him. A memory from long ago floated through his mind when he was just a kid, lost in laughter with his friends, all of their worries dismissed as childish whims. "Sir." His attorney's voice sliced through his nostalgia, pulling him back. "This isn't the time to stop," he interrupted, unable to restrain himself. "Do you see them?" He gestured toward the trio. "Look at their faces. That light? It's something we saved, something we can give." The attorney's eyes softened momentarily, just enough for Charles to feel a flicker of triumph. "But what about the meeting?" she pressed, a frown still etched into her brow. "Let the meeting go." Her eyes widened in disbelief, but they held an undercurrent of understanding. Maybe she knew, deep down, that sometimes the chance to redefine success transcended numbers and contracts. Charles continued to watch the children, each of their carefree movements loosening the coils of anxiety in his chest. There was something beautiful about the simplicity of their joy. The way they played, ran, laughed, each action spoke louder than any quarterly report ever could. It struck him how small yet significant these moments were. In the chaos of his corporate life, He had often overlooked the importance of mere presence, the act of simply being present for the people who mattered most. Anna! Lily yelled, running and spinning on her heels, her arms wide, ready to embrace their new friend. Charles felt a smile grow across his face, a real smile, one unfettered by worry or doubt. The tight grip he had on his old life was slowly loosening as he pondered the potential of this new direction. Yet, as joyous as this moment felt, a shadow loomed. What would happen when the laughter faded? What if Anna returned to her reality, slipping away from their world back into the depths of struggle? He shivered slightly, realizing the doubts would creep back in quick and ugly. Just then, a weighty reality hit him. What if he could truly make a difference? For the first time, Charles felt the urge to take action beyond his fortune. Could he forge a path toward community engagement, combining his resources for change? The questions hung in the air, heavy yet hopeful, as he watched the surprised delight on Anna's face. Could one moment, a small act of kindness, be the catalyst for something bigger? Even as the festival around them erupted in color and music, Charles's heart raced with uncertainty. He was intrigued, yet terrified at the thought of stepping out of the shadow he had lived in for so long. And as waves of laughter continued to wash over him, he knew one thing: he could no longer ignore the life-changing potential of connection. Would he embrace this new journey unfolding before him? Or retreat back into the comfort of his empire? The answer felt just out of reach, like a gentle breeze promising change. Yet, it was change he feared more than anything else. Charles tried to shake off the growing anxiety as he watched the children dart around the crowded park, shadows flitting through the afternoon sun. They seemed so effortlessly carefree, their laughter like chimes in the wind, clear and melodic. It ignited something in him, a desire to break free from the binding chains of his reality and embrace something more meaningful. Lily's joyful squeals rang out in the air as she raced after Anna, her tiny legs a blur as she dodged and weaved, barely containing her joyous energy. Ellie cheered from the sidelines, clapping her hands, her enthusiasm a mirror of Lily's. Yet, as he stole glances at Anna's face, he could see the flicker of vulnerability hidden behind her smile. The edginess of uncertainty was evident in her eyes, as though she was slowly awakening to the comfort of companionship but could not quite grasp it yet. "Daddy! Look!" Lily called out to him, her cheeks flushed from running. Her ecstatic expression made his heart swell. "We're playing tag. You should join us." Join them? Could he? The thought tugged at him, yet he felt rooted, unable to move. A flicker of doubt surfaced, the thoughts of board meetings and financial reports came rushing back. How could he trade that life for one filled with simple joys? He hesitated. But then the sound of a child's laughter ignited a spark inside him, one he had buried long ago under layers of responsibility and expectation. Slowly, he found himself walking towards the trio, each step feeling like it was pulling him further away from the weight of the corporate world. "Tag! You're it!" With a swift movement, Lily dashed past him, brushing his arm as she sped after Anna. Sparks of joy erupted, weaving their way through the tension high in his chest. Just one chase, he thought. This can't hurt. Taking a deep breath, he closed the distance and playfully reached out, tapping Anna on the shoulder. "You're it." He laughed, the sound surprisingly light, filled with the joy that only came from genuine amusement. Anna's eyes widened, surprised at the unexpected attention. She spun around, her laughter mingling beautifully with that of the girls. "Not me." She squealed, her smile transforming her face, making it glow. For the first time, he witnessed her spirit unleash, the spark of childhood innocence lighting her features. He felt a rush of warmth, almost like a looming realization that perhaps this was where he was meant to be, playing, laughing, connecting. As the laughter enveloped them all, he dared to ponder if this was what life should really be, moments weaving together, hearts opening in trust, fears subsiding in the light of joy. But reality crashed over him again like a sudden wave. Could this be sustainable? Could these fleeting moments change permanent realities? Would Anna truly remain in their lives, or were they just a temporary distraction in her struggle? The uncertainty gnawed at him, shadows creeping back in. Just as he felt himself wavering, caught between this newfound lightness and the weighty chains of his existence, he saw Lily turn towards Anna, her innocent eyes filled with something pure. "Will you come to my house for a sleepover? It'll be so fun." The invitation hung in the air, suffused with hope. But would it be enough? Before he could voice a response, Anna hesitated. Her gaze darted around the park, uncertainty etched on her face. And just like that, a ripple of doubt cut through the warmth of the moment. Would Anna accept? Would she allow herself to cross into a world where connections could blossom? Charles felt that familiar tightening in his chest, caught in the duality of hope and fear. As the children resumed their game, laughter cascading into the afternoon, he asked himself, would he step forward to support them, or would he find himself back at that crossroads, torn between comfort and courage once more? The air buzzed with excitement and anticipation as the girls continued to scamper around the park, lost in their laughter. Charles felt his heart racing. His eyes flitted nervously between Anna and Lily. He could sense that this moment was pivotal not just for the girls, but for him too. The weight of his responsibilities pressed down, urging him to turn back, to retreat to the safety of his predictable world. But the scene before him pulled at his heartstrings with a force he couldn't ignore. "Sure, I'd love to," Anna finally exclaimed, her voice bright as if she had just discovered a new treasure. Charles couldn't help but feel a swell of joy for her. It was a small victory yet monumental in its implications. "Yay!" Lily shouted, clapping her hands together, her excitement bubbling over. "We can have a tea party and read stories. And my mom makes the best cookies." Ellie jumped in, adding, "And we can play dress up." Her face was aglow with enthusiasm. The kind of enthusiasm that could drown out the world's noise, even for just a moment. Charles's heart tinged with a bittersweet feeling. Anna's smile was radiant, but the hint of hesitation still lingered in her eyes. What if she gets scared? What if she feels like she doesn't belong? He thought. The reality of their temporary joy slipped in like a shadow, and he couldn't help but note the stark contrast between the lightheartedness of their games and the heavy burden some of them carried. "Anna," he called gently, stepping closer. She turned to him, her brown eyes wide with a mix of delight and uncertainty. "If you come over, it'll be so much fun. You'll be safe and welcomed. You can be yourself." The moment stretched thin, heavy with hope. He wanted her to feel like she belonged, to see that the world could be kind and welcoming. But then the worry flickered back across her face, her indecision palpable. "Do you think your mom will mind?" Anna asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Lily jumped instantly to her rescue. "No way. My mom loves company. Plus, we can play on the swings." Suddenly, Anna's laughter came rushing back. It bubbled over, threading through the air like a melody, intertwining with the distant sounds of the park, people chatting, children squealing with glee. The warmth enveloped them, a protective canopy of normalcy that blanketed their little group. "Okay, I'll come," Anna said, the words spilling out like a breath of fresh air. Charles felt a rush of relief wash over him, but the thread of anxiety remained. As much joy as he felt, uncertainty still loomed. Could Anna truly find a sense of belonging with them? Would past scars resurface? "Great! Let us go home," Lily shouted, grabbing Anna's hand. With that, they began to bounce toward the park exit, filled with promises of cookies and laughter. Charles lagged behind, hesitating. He took a deep breath, feeling as though he was inching toward a precipice. This wasn't just about the girls having fun. It was about building something real, a connection that could grow beyond an afternoon. He wanted to be a part of it, but with it came a flood of fear. As he walked, the echoes of children filled the space around him, pure joy mingling with the heavy tread of adult duties that never ceased. What if he couldn't fully commit to this new chapter? What if he found himself standing in the dark once more, missing the light of something beautiful, just as he caught up with them, Lily turned back towards him, her excitement contagious. "Daddy! You'll help us make the cookies, right?" In a heartbeat, he replied, a hesitant smile breaking across his face. Confidence flickered to life inside him, his heart racing with the possibility of what this invitation could spark. But as he glanced at Anna, he wondered, would she see him as an ally in this journey, or would she always remain one step outside, peering through a window of uncertainty? The feeling of hope clashed with doubt, forming a knot in his stomach. This was just the beginning, but the real question lingered: could they navigate the choppy waters of their pasts together, or would it pull them apart? As the trio continued down the path, his thoughts swirled with unease. The shadows lingered, and he was left staring into the unknown, wondering what awaited them on the other side of this new connection. Charles walked behind the girls, the sound of their laughter fading in and out, like echoes in a canyon. It filled him with warmth but also a pang of worry. What if today was just another fleeting moment for Anna? What if, deep down, she was still that lost girl unsure of her place? He glanced at the girls, their fingers intertwined, bright sunshine dancing on their hair. Lily led the way, practically skipping, while Anna matched her pace a little hesitantly. He admired Anna's courage but could taste the bitterness of her doubts. It made him ache for her, wishing he could sprinkle magic over her heart and erase her fears. As they walked, Charles couldn't help but feel the heavy weight of his own reservations pressing down on him. He wasn't prepared for the responsibility of nurturing the fragile bond that seemed to sprout between the three of them. Would Anna thrive in Lily's world? The kind of world where cookies were never just sweets but treasures baked with love. "Do you know how to make cookies, Anna?" Lily shouted back, her voice bubbling with excitement. I've seen my mom do it. Can we, put chocolate chips in or something?" Anna hesitated, tilting her head in genuine concern that Charles found endearing. "Definitely." Lily grinned. "And we can make frosting too. The pretty kind with sprinkles." Charles couldn't help but chuckle at the enthusiasm, but his thoughts drifted again. He was about to step into uncharted territory, a space where families formed and hearts healed. Would he be enough to support Anna? They turned the corner, the familiar path leading to home. The little house came into view, bright and inviting, but Charles felt a shadow hanging over it. What if his home was not enough? It had always been a refuge, but the walls held frail secrets, whispers of his past regret, fears, and unfulfilled dreams. "Do you like movies, Anna?" Lily suddenly asked, pulling Charles back from his thoughts. "Yeah, I guess," Anna replied. She sounded hesitant again, and Charles noticed her gaze dropping. "You'll love the ones we watch. We have those big fluffy blankets," Lily continued, trying to lift the mood. "And popcorn, the good kind that makes your fingers buttery." Anna smiled a little, a tiny, careful smile. As they walked in, the sunlight spilled into the house, and Lily raced ahead, leaving Charles and Anna to follow at a slower pace. Anna hesitated at the threshold for just a moment, her small presence seeming so fragile against the backdrop of the bright kitchen. "Come on, Anna. I'll show you where we keep the cookie stuff." Lily called from the other room, her voice echoing with joy and invitation. Charles noticed Anna taking a tentative step inside, her foot hovering on the threshold. He felt pain rise within him, a rush of memories from his own childhood, each moment imprinted with the fear of the unknown. He stepped closer to her, a silent question hanging between them. "You're welcome here, you know that?" he said softly, his voice steady yet inviting. "You can be yourself, and it's okay." "Really?" She looked up, her brown eyes meeting his, and a flicker of something passed between them, a glimmer of hope mingled with fear. It took just a second, but in that second, something changed. "Okay," Anna breathed, stepping inside with a little more confidence. The door creaked as it closed behind them, sealing the outside world away. Lily was busily rummaging through the pantry, her excitement infectious. "You should see how much icing we have. We can make the most extravagant cookies ever." Anna glanced at Charles, her eyes unsure but also curious. Would she let herself dive into this new world? Charles's heart raced alongside hers, feeling the pulse of uncertainty and it transforming into something else possibility. But just as enthusiasm filled the room, a nagging thought tugged at the back of Charles's mind. Would this newfound friendship withstand the complexities of their pasts and their uncharted future? Anna's quiet voice broke through his thoughts. I can try, right? Absolutely, he replied, but a part of him felt the weight of the promise behind those simple words. As they began to gather ingredients, the air buzzed with anticipation, and laughter erupted once more, wrapping around them like a warm hug. Yet, the question remained, could this act of baking together heal their hidden scars, or would it draw them closer to the edge of their uncertainties? The cookies were just the beginning. The real challenge awaited them, lurking just beyond the comforting walls of the kitchen. Lily danced around the kitchen, pulling out mixing bowls and measuring cups, her energy electric. Meanwhile, Charles watched as Anna cautiously approached the counter, glancing at the colorful sprinkles like they were treasure. She reached out her tiny hand but hesitated again, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Go ahead, Charles encouraged gently, aware that such small interactions could shape Anna's willingness to take the next step. Nothing bad will happen. It's just fun. Lily chimed in, yeah. And I promise they'll taste amazing. You'll be a cookie master in no time. The enthusiasm of her words melted the hesitation in Anna's stance. With a small but growing smile, Anna grabbed the container of sprinkles and giggled as Lily twirled around her, mimicking a chef in a cooking show. Charles felt a sense of relief wash over him. Maybe, just maybe, they were moving in the right direction. As they began measuring flour and sugar, conversations flowed freely. Anna told them about her favorite school subject, the little games she played with friends, and how she wished she could play soccer like Lily. Her voice, once so quiet and unsure, began to carry a spark of liveliness. Charles couldn't help but marvel at the transformation taking place in front of him. Each story Anna shared seemed to peel away a layer of doubt that had clung to her like a heavy cloak. He wished he could protect her growing light, but the shadows of his own childhood memories began to creep back in the loneliness, the inadequacy, the fear of losing connection. While they made the batter, flour clouds dusted the countertops, and laughter bubbled around the kitchen. It felt like a scene from a movie, an idyllic family moment that so many strive for. But as Charles stirred the mixing bowl, he caught the small flash of anxiety in Anna's eyes. What would happen when the cookies were baked, when the excitement wore off, and reality set back in? Watching her perfect little face, Charles felt a resurgence of determination. You know, Anna, he said, breaking the rhythm of joy for a moment. Life is a bit like baking. Sometimes, you mix in ingredients you don't expect. You might get a few spills and mistakes along the way, but that's what makes it special. Anna's brows furrowed as she considered him. Really? Even when it's bad? Especially when it's bad, he replied, wishing he could convey the truth wrapped in those simple words. That's when you learn the most. You bake those experiences into who you are. Yet, a moment of silence fell over them, interrupted only by the sound of the mixer whirring. It was profound and heavy, with Anna's small frown softening into an expression of something he hadn't seen before, a hint of understanding. Then can we make the bad cookies too? She asked, her brow lifting in hope, echoing the little spark of confidence she was slowly finding. Of course we can. Lily leaned over, grinning with nods, and adding to the supportive ambience. The doorbell rang, slicing through the moment. I'll get it. Lily dashed off, her kindness toward Anna a stark reminder of everything Charles hoped would blossom between the two girls. Just as he was about to call after Lily, a wave of uncertainty washed over him. Who could be knocking at their door at this hour? His heart thudded, a creaky feeling of dread growing as the echo of his own childhood loomed close around him. Anna stood frozen, her smile wiped away in an instant. Do you think it's someone bad? Charles crouched down to her level, trying to soothe her uncertainty. Hey, remember what I said? Life mixes things up unexpectedly. We'll face it together. But as Lily opened the door wide, Charles couldn't shake the knot tightening in his stomach. Who awaited them on the other side? Seconds slipped by, each heartbeat vibrating with an anxiety that lingered in the air. The moment would set the course of what was to come. And at that moment, everything felt like it was teetering on the edge of beautiful chaos and heart-wrenching unknowns. What would this unexpected visitor bring? Charles inhaled deeply, unsure of what fate awaited them. Lily swung the door open wide, her excitement instantly fading into confusion. Standing there, at the threshold, was a woman Charles recognized, a figure from his past that jolted memories he had long tried to bury. It was Marissa, an old friend turned ghost from his younger days, her frail frame hidden beneath a worn-out coat. "Charles," she began, voice trembling, eyes wet with unshed tears. Lily stepped aside, her innocent curiosity shifting to concern as she looked between her father and the stranger. Anna peeked shyly from behind Charles, her sprinkles momentarily forgotten. "Marissa, what are you doing here?" Charles forced the question out, heart racing. He didn't want to revisit this, didn't want to dive back into the treacherous waters of friendship and loss he thought he had left behind. I need to talk to you," Marissa said, glancing down as if the words were caught in her throat. "It's important." As the tension thickened, Charles felt Anna's small hand grip his shirt gently, a comforting reminder of the moment they were building, the joy of baking in the kitchen. His instincts screamed to close the door, to keep the chaos out, yet his heart ached with the need to understand what had drawn this specter back to his life. "Come in," he said reluctantly, gesturing for her to step inside. It felt like inviting a storm into his calm. Marissa crossed the threshold, hesitating as she took in the brightness of their home, a stark contrast to the haunting memories of their shared past. The kitchen still smelled of fresh dough, and laughter echoed softly around them, a warm cocoon that felt as inviting as it did fragile. "Lily, why don't you take Anna to pick out some cookie cutters?" he suggested, hoping to soften the shift in atmosphere. The girls exchanged glances, and Lily nodded, eager to escape the heavy moment. As they disappeared into the adjoining room, Charles faced Marissa, his heart racing with a mix of dread and curiosity. "What is going on? You look different." Her eyes darted around the kitchen, landing back on him, searching for something that seemed lost. "I've been going through a lot. I lost my job, and things got really bad." The walls of his heart hardened. He remembered the struggles, how the mistakes of their youths intertwined turned friends into strangers. "I'm sorry, Marissa. But what do you need from me?" "I need help," she said, her voice cracking. "I can't go back home. I don't have anywhere else to turn." The weight of her honesty wrapped around him like a cold breeze, reminding him of the times he had pushed away others who slipped into darkness. But he had Anna now, and he couldn't risk that light for shadows of the past. "Have you tried getting help?" he asked, trying to keep his tone even. "There are shelters, organizations. I need more than that, Charles. I need someone who knows me, who can understand," she pleaded, tears breaking free now. His mind raced with images of crashed dreams and paths taken. He thought of Anna, just beginning to uncover her own strength. This isn't the time for old ties. "I have responsibilities now, Marissa." Suddenly, the laughter from the next room felt loud and poignant, a reminder of what he stood to protect. Yet, he couldn't shake the instinct to reach out, to guide a falling leaf back to the branch. "What will you do?" he pressed, the words heavy with regret. "I don't know," she whispered. "But I can't keep pretending like everything's okay when it's not." The clock ticked, the air thick with unsaid thoughts. Anna and Lily could return any moment, bringing with them the lightness in that doughy kitchen. He had to decide what mattered most. Was it the light he was nurturing, or the darkness that had found its way back, knocking at his door? As the door to his past swung open again, he wondered, could there actually be a way to intertwine both these worlds? What if he chose to believe in second chances, for everyone involved? Marissa's pleading gaze held him captive. The walls began to close in. And just outside, amid the baking chaos, Anna giggled as she tossed sprinkles into the air, blissfully unaware of the brewing storm. What decision awaited Charles in the swirling chaos of memories and responsibilities? A heaviness settled in the kitchen, as Charles stared at Marissa, her presence stirring emotions he had long buried. Anna's laughter drifted in from the other room, reminding him of the joy reclaiming his life. He weighed his choices, feeling the crushing grip of his past clashing against the beauty blooming in front of him. "Marissa," he said, drawing a deep breath to steady the turmoil inside. "I can't just open the floodgates without thinking. I know I've made mistakes," she said, her voice trembling, "but I need help like I used to get from you. I'm scared, Charles." Scared, the word echoed in him. He saw Anna, her small hand gripping a mixing bowl, her face lighting up with every sprinkle she tossed. A part of him wished to remain in the warmth of that moment, unfurling new friendships and laughter, and yet, Marissa's plea pierced through the cocoon of joy, revealing the fragility of life. "Do you remember us, Charles?" Marissa pressed, eyes glistening. "We were inseparable once. I need to find that connection again." Each word chipped away at his resolve. He had cut ties to protect himself, now he felt like he stood on a heart-wrenching precipice, an emotional tightrope between two worlds. "Daddy!" Lily's exuberant voice jolted him from his contemplations. She burst into the kitchen, Anna trailing behind, beaming with a cookies-in-a-bag excitement. "We found the cutest cookie cutters." The mood shifted like sunlight breaking through clouds. Innocent joy flooded the room. Charles watched Lily and Anna slide into a swirling giggle fest, hands flailing as they displayed the colorful shapes. But Marissa remained, invisible in the periphery of that happiness. With a rushed thought, he ushered the girls to the counter, hoping to diffuse the tension coiling in the air. "Let's make the biggest cookies the world has ever seen," he declared enthusiastically, grabbing for dough and sprinkles, the chaos of their earlier laughter returning. "Can we make a giant star?" Anna asked, her voice ringing with tender hope. "Of course, as big as the sky," he replied, pouring into her sparkle, unwilling to hold back. Marissa stood silent, an outsider amidst this warmth, and for a fleeting moment, he saw the remnants of their past flaring up as if beckoning him to remember. But then he sensed the soft heartbeat of what he was nurturing: new beginnings, connection, a bond between Anna and Lily that seemed to shimmer before him. "Marissa," he spoke when he could. "You're right that we had something. But I can't throw open my arms completely without knowing what that could cost my daughter." There it was, the crux of his greatest fear, the shadow of loss that had haunted him all these years. "It's different now," Marissa insisted, her voice firm with newfound strength. "I'm fighting to change. I will do what it takes." Charles felt torn, a cacophony of desires and fears crashing around his heart. "Can you meet us halfway? What do you need?" he asked, softening. She paused, a tear escaping as she visibly gathered herself. "I just need time. I'll find a way, an apartment or a shelter, but I can't keep running. I can't keep pretending." "I'll help you, it won't be easy," he said, the resolve building inside him like a sturdy wall against storms. "You'll have to commit, and we'll have to face hard truths." The ambient joy of the kitchen amplified as the girls jumped in excitement, blissfully unaware of the unfolding adult drama. Charles marveled at the paradox: two worlds juxtaposed against each other. The innocence and trust in Lily's face, the anticipation lighting up Anna's eyes, mingled with uncertainty about the looming shadows of adulthood. Turning back to Marissa, he softened as he affirmed, "I'll help you find that direction, but I need you to understand the weight my family carries. I don't want to lose what I've built." His heart surged. Clearly he couldn't abandon the warmth filling their home. "Thank you," Marissa muttered, her emotion raw. "I won't let you down this time. I swear it." Their eyes locked, a flicker of unspoken understanding cemented the fragile bridge they were beginning to reconstruct. And for the first time in what felt like forever, Charles felt the threads of connection intertwining, both old and new. With a deep breath, Charles turned back to Lily and Anna, the frivolity of childhood swirling through the air again. "Who's ready to make the biggest cookies?" he declared, and their laughter erupted once more. In this moment, amidst the mixing flour and light-hearted joy, he realized that it wasn't the shadows that determined one's worth. It was the willingness to embrace connection, to allow hope to blossom even in uncertainty. As they baked together, Charles understood that life was a messy kitchen full of ingredients, sometimes bitterness, sometimes sweetness, all mixed together. And by forging this new path, they could uncover hidden treasures in both friendships and family ties. He felt ready, truly ready, to embrace this unpredictable blend. The aroma of baking cookies wafted through the air, a promise wrapped in the warmth of his family's newfound love and connection. In that moment, with laughter ringing and dough stretching under their palms, he knew they had begun to mend not just their lives, but the brokenness of relationships too, and just like that, they found a sense of belonging, a powerful transformation unfolding not only in a kitchen but within their hearts. Now, more than ever, Charles knew he was exactly where he belonged. As the last sprinkled cookie came out of the oven, shining brightly, it was clear the real work had begun. And they would face it, together. Before the moment faded, a reminder surged through him: this was a story worth sharing beyond the bounds of the kitchen. A beacon of hope that could ignite transformations in others as well. So here's the call. You need to subscribe now to keep witnessing these life-changing journeys. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let your friends know about the hope unfolding here. Comment below with your reactions and thoughts about this heartfelt ending. And most importantly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share the message of connection and hope. Join our community today.